Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Like promised, I'm gonna talk about myself and my story a bit on the second episode here, I guess. Today was actually an interesting day. I gotta share with you before I start. It's the first time that I'm probably going to have a hefty bill, and I'm going to learn the hard way that owning an expensive car could have it cost. Like I said, I do like to enjoy my cars, and today I actually ended up drifting a bit too far, ran into a snowbank pretty badly, went over a bush, and the plastic crack. I was honestly quite impressed and amazed that going over a curve and into a snowbank, and right away I just put the car in reverse and it got out no problem, and it appeared as if there wasn't much damage, but reality is that there was a tiny crack in the front. And of course, going into the shop and looking at it, it seems like it's gonna need a new bumper. So right there, probably about $6,000-7,000 that I'm gonna have to swallow. But you know what, I kind of came to terms with it. I finished the day with again some donuts with a broken bumper. It just puts a smile on my face, and truth is, it's just so awesome that I can finally enjoy a car that I dreamed about for so long. But yeah, let's talk about myself. So I was born in Israel. I grew up in a small town of 2,000 on the most northern spot in the country. Very small, kind of a farming community. Basically, at age 8, which is quite early in Israel, I started playing hockey. Throughout the years, I guess I was pretty good for Israel, and I actually ended up in the national team when I was 13. So we started to go around the world playing in world championships and different events. At age 16 was a big turn, I guess, change in my life when former NHL coach was running a hockey camp in Israel, and he thought I was really good, and he put a plan together and ended up offering me to go to Notre Dame in Saskatchewan, a Catholic boarding school for a Jewish kid. After deep thought, I actually decided I have to take the opportunity because I will never forgive myself if I didn't, and I sure enough ended up going. So at 16 years old, I left home, and I actually ended up going to a Catholic boarding school in the middle of nowhere, Saskatchewan. What happened in Notre Dame, I think, was quite good, not because I developed my hockey skills as much as I just really learned about living on my own in an early age and work ethic. It was one of the things that this school was really not taking lightly. It was a lot about discipline, work ethic, and really good values that I think helped me quite a bit. I graduated at 18 and I went to university in the States, but that's when the Israeli army, which you have to attend at one point, got involved and said, hey, you need to come back to Israel and either serve the army or do it after university. So naturally I decided I'm gonna go back now, no point in going to university, graduate and then going back. And I was all in, so I kind of left North America behind and went into the army. I definitely didn't think things are gonna turn the way they are, but it just, life puts you in situations and you just gotta deal with it, I guess, and get the most out of it. And after a year in special forces training, I ended up getting injured and separated from my brothers and crew. And basically what happened at that point is that I had to leave, and the army didn't want me, let's put it in soft words. I became a liability. Now, I tried to go to university in Israel, and they told me that they don't transfer my education from North America. It was kind of a shocker to me, and it put me in a tough spot because they said you need to catch up and do grade 12 all over again, and probably SATs in Israel, and then start over in university. Or you go back to North America, and once you have a degree, that's when you can transfer everything and continue. I obviously decided I'm gonna move back to North America, but at that point I really had to figure out how to make money. I was a youth hostel receptionist before. I really never had any skilled job. I didn't have any education, and sales just appeared to be the ideal opportunity because I heard of people that made money doing it, and all I heard was how it's work ethic, persistence, and all that stuff. And I took a chance. I basically went to a commission-only job, and my goal coming into the summer was, hey, I have to make $30,000 to pay my international tuition fees and able to live. Luckily, I did take that turn in my life because things went awesome. I ended up making $62,000 in 4 months, knocking doors, selling home automation, alarms at the time. There was no home automation. And that's really the beginning of my business journey. I was very lucky because the owner of the company, which was 28 at the time, was just an awesome dude, very motivational, very supportive, and very caring. So right there, without even asking for it, I actually found Graham, who is the mentor, a mentor for me even today. And he was always there to help me with advice and important things. And I definitely think each and every one of us should have someone in his life that he can go to with questions, someone that he can learn from. And that was Graham for me, and of course he helped me quite a bit. Now basically the door-to-door didn't take me off track. I still continued in university here in Alberta, in University of Alberta, Edmonton, and I went to school. I drove a nice car, well, nice-ish at the time, and went to school. I was in business at the time. Now, I went back to Fluent, and of course they offered me to manage, but they say, we're not gonna give you people to manage. You need to actually go and find people that wanna work with you, that you can train, motivate, and build them up. And I didn't think much of it. I just thought, you know what, of course, why not try it? And I got lucky. I actually ended up bringing a few friends from Israel, and I got them work visas, and then found a few Canadians to work with me. And it was just nuts. It was honestly out of this world. In 5 months, in my summer break, essentially, I was 21 years old, and I made well over 6 figures. Kind of blew my mind. I've never made money in my life other than the first year in the job. And that's really when I realized that the potential is endless. That was a changing point in my life when I realized I don't have a ceiling. I don't have anyone telling me what I'm worth. I can take that anywhere. And I actually sat down and changed my goals and decided, you know what, if I focus on this and really commit, I can probably retire by the time I'm 30, and I can really make my life easier after that. And so I did. I went back to university after making a lot of money in the summer. I went back to classes, finished another semester, went back on the road for another summer, and again made even more money. It was that point that I talked with my parents overseas that told me, Oren, you're not in school for us. I was one of these kids that was really worried about disappointing my parents. So I ended up literally staying in university because I was worried my parents would worry, oh, our kid is a dropout. And as soon as I got that approval from my dad, literally the following day, I left classes and dropped out of university. And I think it worked okay for me. You know, I truly think that entrepreneurs and business people, the best education you can get is doing business. I mean, going to school, of course, you're gonna learn a lot, and I have nothing against university, and it's amazing the networking, if you ask me, that comes along with it. But the big thing for me was I was learning way more business just selling, interacting with business people, asking questions, being curious. And that's really what I kind of decided to do, that I'm just gonna take the money I was spending on university every year, and I am willing to invest that even if I have no clue what I'm doing, because I looked at it as, hey, I was gonna spend that money on university anyways, I might as well invest the same amount of money in stuff and try and see if I can make money out of it. So it was basically my 3rd year in Canada that I decided to drop out of university. And at that point, like I said, I was already managing a team. It took me 5 years, so probably 2 years after I dropped out, to actually grow to a position where I'm a regional manager. Now, the big thing about being a regional manager is that now not only I manage a team and knock doors myself, I was also developing managers underneath me that will recruit, train, and of course I will just kind of be there to mentor them and push them toward that success. And that was quite exciting. I really felt like, wow, I'm actually influencing people's lives, and I'm able to develop people to the point that they are developing other people. There are different levels of leaderships. If you guys ever read about leaderships and number 1 and 2 and so on. So it was kind of exciting that I can really see the growth on a path like that. Now, from there, what happened is in year 7 in the industry, the owner of the company decided that he's going to the States to grow the business. And he basically told me that he wants me to start looking over Canada. I believe I was probably about 60-70% the production already, so I was growing pretty fast. But that was officially the point where, hey, I'm almost taking over the whole country and any sales rep in the country, which was a huge compliment, but obviously a huge opportunity as well. And basically 2016 was the transition year, and it went well. Things were awesome. 2017 was a bit rough because, again, being the head acho in the country, and production dropped, or at least didn't grow, and I felt like, oh wow, how am I going to influence so many people and actually be able to go and get back on the right track of growth? And 2018 was a game changer year for me. What a lot of people don't know about my car is 2017, that was one of my goals. I was supposed to buy that Lamborghini if I was actually hitting my goal. And I fell short a few hundred accounts of that. And sure enough, my friends and the owner just said, Oren, you worked so hard, you should just buy it. And I looked at them and I said, absolutely not. You know what? I set a goal. I put my word on it. I am not buying it because I missed it. And what I decided in 2018 is I'm going back to knocking doors. So a father of two, married. I really had an I-8. I had quite a bit of money at that point, but I just felt like the right thing to do is lead from the front. And again, if you ever look into business ownership or growth, never do something that you can't do yourself. Never do something that you fear of succeeding on your own, because it's so much easy to hire other people and throw them out there. But it is not really motivational for someone to know, hey, this guy already has the money and I'm just gonna work for him. If someone can see you out there with him, showing him through the trenches, I feel like it's so much more motivational and effective. And definitely a big recommendation, in my opinion, for anyone that manages or, of course, runs a business there. Now, at that point, really what happened, I grew 20%. So the whole country, it was so amazing, was directly influenced and motivated by seeing the big boss going out and knocking doors, selling out in the cold in -10 and -15, putting in the late sales, and the effect, you know, it was resonating through the country. And of course, we had a great summer. I destroyed the goal I set for myself in 2017. And at the end of 2018 is when I bought that Lamborghini, which you can actually watch the first video on that channel. Will kind of show you the excitement and, of course, how it all went about. That's really where I'm at today. I'm 30 years old. I'm married with 2 kids, expecting a third. I live in Edmonton. I still play hockey in a men's league. They're kicking my butt nowadays. And yeah, you know, that's really a bit about myself, so you guys know where I came from and what I'm all about. Real estate is one of the things that I invested in throughout my career. So every year when I made money, I always decided for the first 5 years that instead of really increasing the quality of my life, I'm just gonna take that money and invest it and actually stay very stressed for money in a way. So I forced myself to be in a point where I'm not comfortable, because even though I made well over $200,000 in a summer, I took that money and I invested it into real estate and kept myself on a tight budget. It allowed me to buy assets pretty quick. I truly believe that here in Canada, we're very privileged with the economy, with the banking system, with the fact we can buy with 5, 10, even 20% down. And it's a phenomenal market. So every summer I went and bought a property, and my way was never buy and flip. It was always the buy and hold, buy and rent. I truly believe that through recessions, as long as you have enough money to cover the mortgage, even if you don't have a renter, you're gonna be okay, because eventually it's gonna come back up. And what I actually always done is when I bought a property, I always split it up. So it would be property up and a property down. So usually the upstairs will cover all of my expenses and the basement would actually be pure cash flow. Now, what happened now, I guess, with my real estate is that I got to the point that I was having passive income after expenses, and my mindset started to change to the, okay, so if these 2 properties are bringing me $2,500 profit a month, I can probably go and spend $2,500 car payment on a BMW i8 and start living it up. But it wasn't until that point that I got comfortable and actually started to enjoy the benefits of course, my hard work. Now, like I promised you, I'm gonna talk about the 25 concepts, tips, rules of business. So today I'm going to start with the first, and in my opinion, the beginning where each and every one need to start. And it's looking in the mirror and actually asking yourself, am I ready to be an entrepreneur? Do I really wanna go that route? Do I really wanna go and be an independent contractor and basically eat what I kill? It's not for everybody. And the first question you gotta ask yourself is, am I willing to make the sacrifices associated with it? There is no doubt that had I constantly focused on the negatives and on the challenges of being away from my family and my wife or friends or not having fun during the summer, I wouldn't have succeeded. But before I actually committed to my journey, I really weighed out my sacrifices, and I simply decided, hey, if I can retire by the time I'm 30, no doubt in my mind, it's worth it. Everything that is going to be involved is going to be worth it. And then, of course, I brainstormed of what can go wrong and actually decided I'm okay with these things. So you have to really think about your sacrifices and what is going to probably happen. So when it does happen, it doesn't throw you off and doesn't phase you, okay? The second question that you have to ask yourself is really, am I willing to step out of my comfort zone? At the end of the day, running a business is the same as commission sales. You are going to create an income. You're going to make money out of your own production, out of whatever you create. You need to be ready to step out of your comfort zone, because at times it will force you to do things that you've never done before. Door to door is so awesome for it, because you're out there getting slapped by people, and it forces you to stand strong and teaches you perseverance and how you can't take anything personal. So when you're going into business, you have to remember, hey, even though I have a spreadsheet and even though I have a plan, be ready for that plan to go out the window. Be ready for that plan to not work out as planned. Be ready for things to change, and at that point you're going to need to make some sharp moves, sometimes things that you're not necessarily comfortable with. You gotta ask yourself, am I ready to step out of my comfort zone? Am I ready to risk and basically make a living based on my production? Am I ready to have no guarantee? That's the third thing that you really have to ask yourself, because there is no guarantees. I think 95% of businesses nowadays fail in the first 5 years. That's a scary stat. But you have a choice whether you're going to focus on the 95% or you're going to decide to be one of the 5%. If you decided that I am going to make it, well, guess what? You can't fail unless you quit. Because as long as you keep going, as long as you have the fire and the passion to keep doing whatever it is you're doing, you're not failing. And the longer you go, the easier it gets. It's incredible. Now, the concept, in my opinion, is sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. When you go into business, it's very challenging and it can be emotional at times, but if you can always look at things like lessons. And when I dropped out of university, that's exactly how I looked at it, because my mistakes, whether they cost me money or not, I just look at them at lesson. So even today, really bad situation, you know, I drifted and I ended up going into the snowbank, and it's gonna be an expensive repair. What is it that I am able to learn from this scenario is the way I look at it. Truth is, not too much, because I still plan on having a lot of fun with this car, and I still probably going to continue drifting. Hopefully I will just get better and be, you know, maybe more cautious. But the concept, this is a sad day for me, obviously. It wasn't a pleasant experience, but if you can teach yourself, sometimes I win, sometimes I learn, it's a very, very healthy, productive thing, I think, for life. Staying motivated, you know, when people ask, how is it that you are so consistent, so motivated, so focused, right? There is, again, 3 questions that you got to ask yourself, in my opinion, okay? The first one is, has anyone ever done it? If anyone ever did it before, then why are you not going to be able to do it? You got to ask yourself, is what I'm going for, is what I'm trying to achieve, did anyone do it before me? Has anyone ever accomplished it? If your answer is yes, then guess what? Do not give up because that person didn't. And you don't know if he had an easy ride or a hard ride or whatever happened. You just know that he accomplished it. Second thing you gotta ask yourself is anyone doing it right now? Okay, so some people would find the excuses saying, oh, he did it in different market, he did it in the past. Well, start asking yourself, is there anyone that is doing it right now? Is there anyone that is actually currently doing what you are wanting to be doing or getting to where you want to get? If it's in your city, in your province, in your country, well, guess what? That means that you can do it. Now, the question that is probably the most important one is, am I going to do it? And it really ties in with the sacrifices explanation I've done earlier. You know, am I willing to do whatever it takes in order to get to the point that I want to get? So, has it been done? Can it be done? Am I going to do it? 3 questions that I find, if you can answer yes to these 3 questions, you can really do anything you want. Now, I do hope you don't mind that I'm kind of talking with you guys while I'm driving the car. I'm really trying to make sure that I at least get a video out every 3 days. This one was quite long, so I do apologize. I was thinking I will be able to keep them under 5 minutes. Truth is, I noticed this one is also almost 20 minutes. Please give me feedback. Do you prefer that I really try and keep my videos short and probably maximum of 5 minutes? Or is it okay if I feel like, hey, I'm just going with the flow, to maybe extend them and sometimes get to the 20 minutes? If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you liked what you watched, please do so. And thank you for watching, and have a good one.